Today we're talking about the difference between a creator who keeps going and a creator who keeps restarting. And it's not talent, it's not motivation, it's not confidence, and it's not discipline. It's not even working hard. It's one thing: a loop, a system. Because structure holds your work together. But structure alone doesn't make it repeat. Structure is the container, and system is the loop that makes it repeat. If it doesn't repeat, you don't own it. You're just doing projects. And projects die, but loops compound. Let's keep this really simple. Structure is like the shape of the bucket. System is how you keep the water flowing. You can have the bucket, but if you don't have a way to keep filling it, it stays empty. A lot of creators have structure. They have a camera. They have a website. They have a schedule. They have a brand. They even have a plan in their head, but they don't have a loop. So they do one big push and then they disappear. Then they feel guilty. Then they restart. That's not a personality problem. That's a system problem. A system is not an app. A system is not a fancy tool. A system is not an automation. A system is a repeatable sequence that produces output. It answers one question: what happens next every time? If you have to decide from scratch every week, you don't have a system. You have effort. And effort is expensive. Effort drains you. Effort requires energy spikes. Systems are cheaper. Systems protect your energy. Systems let you keep going even when life is busy, and life will be busy. So if your plan only works on perfect weeks, it's not a plan. Most creators restart because they work in projects. A project is something you start and finish. A project has a beginning and an end. And that sounds normal, but it becomes a trap when your whole life is a series of projects. Because projects end. And when they end, you go back to zero. Then you need a new burst of energy to begin again. That's exhausting. A loop is different. A loop has no finish. A loop is rhythm. A loop is repeatable. A loop is what survives travel, family, stress, low energy, doubts, distractions, and anything else that might show up in between. Because the loop tells you what to do next. And when next is clear, you move. Here's the most important part of today. Every creative system can be reduced to 4 parts: input, process, output, feedback. That's the loop. If any part is missing, the loop breaks. So let's walk through each one, and I'll keep it practical. Part 1, input. This is where ideas come from. Input is how you feed the machine. If you don't set up input, you rely on inspiration. And inspiration is unreliable. This is why people say, I don't know what to post, or I don't know what to talk about, or I ran out of ideas. No, you didn't run out of ideas, you ran out of input. You didn't build a feeding system. Input can be simple. Input can be notes in your phone, questions people ask you, problems your clients have, videos you watch and respond to, books you read and highlight, comments you get under your posts, real experiences from your life, mistakes you made, patterns you notice. If you want stable output, you need stable input. So here's a simple rule. Pick 2 input sources, only 2. For example, audience questions plus your own experience, or client problems plus research, or books plus experiments. Then you write down ideas as they show up. That's input. You're not waiting for the spark. You're collecting fuel. Part 2 is process, or how the idea becomes real. Process is the steps, not vague steps, real steps, like a checklist. If you don't have steps, you improvise every time. Improvising is fun, but it's slow. Improvising also creates inconsistency, because every time you improvise, the work takes longer. And when work takes too long, you avoid it. Then you disappear. So process is the bridge. Process is what turns ideas into output. For content, process might be research, outline, script, film, edit, upload. For a blog, process might be idea, outline, draft, edit, publish. For a service, process might be intake, diagnose, map, plan, deliver, and follow up. The best process has these traits. It's simple, it's repeatable, it's written down, and it doesn't change every time. If your process changes every time, you don't have a process. You have guessing. Part 3 is output, or what ships. Output is the part that matters most, because output is the only thing that creates proof. A lot of people confuse work with output. They say, I worked all day, but nothing shipped. That means the system failed. Output means the video is published, the essay is published, the email is sent, the offer page is live, the checkout works, the booking link works, the deliverable is delivered. Output is visible. Output is measurable. Output is what lets you improve. If you're not shipping, you're not in the game. You're in practice. And practice is fine, but don't expect revenue from practice. Revenue comes from output. Part 4 is feedback, or how it improves. Feedback is the part most people skip. They ship something, then they run away. Or they obsess emotionally. Or they look at the wrong numbers. Feedback is not personal. Feedback is diagnostic. Feedback is asking what worked, what didn't, what took too long, what confused people, what should I remove next time, what should I repeat next time. Feedback can be comments, watch time, retention, open rates, clicks, replies, application submissions, sales, client results. The goal of feedback is simple. Make the next loop easier and better. That's it. If you don't do feedback, you repeat mistakes. And repeating mistakes creates burnout. Now, here's the rule that stops overwhelm. You only need one loop at a time. Most people try too many loops at once. A content loop, an email loop, a social loop, a product loop, a client loop, an affiliate loop, an ads loop. That's chaos. Pick the loop that drives the rest. For most creators, that loop is the weekly content loop. Why? because content creates attention. Attention creates leads. Leads create sales. Sales create proof, and proof improves content. That's a loop. One loop can feed the whole machine. Let me give you a real schedule. Not a fantasy schedule, not post 3 times a day. A real loop that a normal adult can do. Here's a simple weekly loop for one long piece. Monday, collect input plus outline, 30 to 60 minutes. Tuesday, script or draft, 60 minutes. Wednesday, film, 60 to 90 minutes. Thursday, edit plus thumbnail, 90 to 180 minutes. Friday, upload plus optimize plus email, 45 to 60 minutes. Weekend, rest or cut 2 shorts if you have time. That's it. And here's the important part. You repeat it every week, even when it's not perfect, because the goal is not perfection. The goal is repetition. Repetition creates compounding. Here's the truth that people hate. Goals don't build consistency. Loops do. Goals are far away. Loops are daily. Goals can motivate you for a moment. Loops create reality. A lot of people say, my goal is 10K a month. Cool. But goals don't tell you what to do on Tuesday. Loops do. If you want predictable progress, stop asking, how do I blow up? Start asking, what loop can I repeat for 6 months? That's the game. That's how you win. Let's talk about money, because a system is not just about making content. A system makes your offer inevitable. Your offer is not something you randomly pitch. Your offer is what your system produces. If your system produces trust, clarity, proof, consistency, and a steady stream of people who understand your thinking, then selling stops feeling scary, because the sale is not a surprise. It's the next step. And if you have a loop, you can improve sales, because you can test the call to action, the offer page, the application questions, the follow-up emails, and the booking flow. You can't improve chaos. You can only improve a loop. Here's the lie. If I just push harder this week, I'll catch up. No. Pushing harder creates spikes. Spikes create crashes. Crashes create guilt. Guilt creates the restart, and the restart kills momentum. On the other hand, a loop creates rhythm. Rhythm creates stability. Stability creates output. Output creates proof. Proof creates confidence, and confidence creates sales. And sales create more proof. That's a loop. Do this now. Write 4 lines. My input is blank. This is where ideas come from. My process is blank. The steps. My output is blank. What ships? My feedback is blank. How I review and improve. Then choose a cadence. Weekly is the safest. Then commit for 30 days. Not forever, 30 days. The loop doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be repeatable. Most people think they need more motivation. They don't. They need a loop. They need a system that tells them what to do next. Because when next is clear, you keep moving. And when you keep moving, your ideas stop dying. They start compounding. Next episode, we'll talk about the final layer, reality. Reality is what the world does with your system. Reality is resistance. Reality is feedback. Reality is constraints. And reality is not the enemy. Reality is the test that makes your system real. Feel free to comment with your loop down below. And if you're interested in learning more about story systems, make sure to subscribe and check out the description for more information. I'll see you in the next one.